So today we're gonna talk on my channel. Well, first of all, welcome back. I'm Jasmine and this is Endless Beauty. Oh, my nose itches. Today we're gonna talk about fat loss, weight loss, how to be healthy, how to maintain health, how to just actively looking for ways to be healthy, making changes in your life and in your eating habits and turning things into a lifestyle because it's more sustainable that way and because it's better in the long run. So I want to make this video because I've had a long journey. So I feel like I've been looking for information about health and fitness and everything like 4 or 5 years ago. I've always been normal. I've always had a normal weight size, but I do fluctuate a lot. Sometimes I go up 10, 15 pounds and sometimes I go down 10, 15 pounds. And I always want to look for a nice balance. I want to have an athletic figure. I want to keep my stomach flat and not bloated. And I just want to feel good. And I've learned a lot in these past 5 years and I just want to share them in like one cohesive video. I can talk about veganism and why I turned vegan and why I'm not even a full vegan, but I live plant-based like 95% of the time. I can talk about that in another video, but I did go vegan, plant-based about almost 4 years ago, but my journey started 6 years ago and it took me about 2 years to transition. The reason why I turned vegan was because of health reasons for the most part. I mean, I do love animals. I've always loved animals, but in the beginning it was mostly for health reasons. I wanted to be healthier. And at the time I was studying abroad and I had a lot of downtime and my diet changed a lot because I was in another country eating a whole new diet, new foods, just new way of eating. We also had dinner at 9:30, almost 10, because in Spain you eat dinner pretty late. So a lot of things changed for me when I went there. I did love it for the time being, but I did gain about 10-15 pounds. I was like about 140. I've always been around 140, 145, and then over there I was like 150, 155, and I never got to 150, 155 until that year, and I was 20 years old. So I was looking for ways on YouTube how to keep your stomach flat, and a lot of vegan things started coming up on YouTube. Following Raw Kristina and Freely the Banana Girl, even though they're so opposite, their videos came up a lot. So that's when I started eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and just incorporating more raw food into my diet, a lot of fruits and vegetables. And then I got home like 5 months later, and that's when I started like doing more smoothies in the morning. I would make a lot of banana smoothies because Freely the Banana Girl was always talking about how great bananas are. And then at nighttime I would make a huge salad because Raw Kristina recommended eating a huge salad at night because that's when your metabolism is slowing down and your body's slowing down, so you want to introduce a lot of greens. And I still had like meat here and there and fish here and there, but for that moment in those 3 months when I started doing that, I lost about like 20 pounds. I went from 150 to like 135 or 155 to 135. So I started losing a lot of weight and I looked really skinny. I'm gonna insert a picture right here. I'm gonna do like a before and after, like before I went vegan and during my transition. I felt great, I felt good, I felt light, and I liked being 135. The only thing I didn't like was that my boobs started deflating a little. You know, I kept active. I did a lot of bicycling in the summer. So that happened, and that was around 2014. And then I went to live at my dorm. And I kept doing the Freely Banana Girl diet. I started eating a lot of bananas and potatoes and really heavy on the carbs. 5 to 8 banana smoothies with peanut butter and huge bowls of oatmeal in the morning for breakfast. And then in the afternoon I would have a huge plate of rice or beans or with some sauteed vegetables. And then at night I would have a huge plate of baked potatoes with a lot of oil, like olive oil, and salad. My body was like all right for like 2-3 months that fall time, but I wasn't exercising a lot. So that's the thing. Like my diet was all right, but my portions were so big, and I thought that it was all right because I was vegan and I thought I needed to eat a lot, but I was eating way too much and I wasn't really exercising that much. I was like in college. I did some home workouts. Sometimes I didn't. I didn't go to the gym that we had on campus too much. I was doing homework and staying in my dorm. so I wasn't really that active. And then in 2015, in the beginning of 2015, like in the winter time, I noticed that I started getting heavier. I started gaining the weight that I lost back. Eating a lot of junk food. I was eating a lot of peanut butter, like I said, a lot of vegan chips, barbecue chips, Fritos, a lot of Oreos. I was just eating a lot of junk food, and I was turning into a junk food vegan. And all of 2015 went by, and I kept eating that way. And then 2016 came, and I was still going to the gym here and there and still eating that way, and a lot of vegan meats started getting introduced into the market. So I was eating a lot of the substitute meats like Gardein and the vegan, just all the vegan meats and all the vegan cheeses, and that's fine once in a while. And I noticed that I kept gaining weight, and by the end of 2016 I was around 160. I've never hit 160 before in my life. And then a few months later go by, and this is like March, I believe, March 2017, and I hit like 165 or something. So I kept going up, and I kept gaining weight, and I wasn't even like building muscle or anything. I wasn't not looking as healthy as I wanted to. My face started getting really bloated, and I was just way too heavy, and I did not want to hit 170 because that's like pregnancy weight. Like that was like, I did my BMI, and even though like a lot of people say it's not really too accurate, I was like getting into overweight territory, and I just didn't feel that great about myself because a lot of things were fitting me too tight or weren't fitting me at all. Dig deep into YouTube again, because YouTube is my school basically. I get all my information from all the people that put out content out there. That's why I'm hoping that this video will help you guys. Portions were way too big, and that my workouts weren't as effective, and I wasn't working out enough. By March 2017, I started looking up fitness videos and like strength videos, and I started doing a lot more weightlifting at the gym, and I did some HIIT training on the treadmill and the Stairmaster to really sweat before I work out. And then I went in and I started working on my squats and my lunges and all the different types of weightlifting for my lower body, because I really wanted to build my glutes and just make things more proportional. And then I started doing my Fitness Pal. I tracked my meals, not every day and not perfectly, but I did enough. And I noticed that I was eating way too much for that moment, because I was trying to lose like 10, 20, 25 pounds. I still ate kind of what I was eating, but I started to lower the carb portion down a lot more. Like if I had rice, it was like a cup of rice. I was very like strong with that, because I was also eating beans with it, and that's more carbs. And even though it's good protein, that was just way too much carbs for that moment. So I started doing that, and I started doing like, instead of 5 bananas for a smoothie, I started doing like 1.5 bananas for a smoothie. Instead of peanut butter, I switched to almond butter. This was with us, my baby. The calories that I was supposed to be intaking to lose weight was 1,600. I would track it, and I would put all my snacks down and all the meals, and I was trying to hit about 25% protein, or like about 20 to 30% protein. Sometimes it gets really difficult when you're vegan, because also I noticed that I was having too much soy, and that's when I started gaining a lot of weight too, with a lot of processed foods and soy. That's when I noticed my body was like more bloated and all that stuff. I'm not against soy at all. I believe that you should have it in moderation. For the first like 5 months, from like, I'm gonna like put some photos like when I did start, like in early 2017. I remember that it wasn't until 8 to 10 months that I started noticing my weight started dropping. For the weekday, I stopped eating before 7. That's what I also noticed. I was always eating really late, and Spain also got me used to eating dinner super late. In the beginning, when you're making all those changes, that's why diets don't really work, because sometimes diets, they're really extreme, and you lose weight for like the first month or 2, but then you get off it and everything comes back, and then your body's just worse because you're fucking with the metabolism a lot. But when I was doing it this way, I was in it for the long term. I waited 10 months, and that's when I first started noticing that my weight was going down. In the fall of 2017, that's when I first started my liver cleanses, my series of liver cleanses. I started reading this book called The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush, and I'll put it right here, because I saw a YouTube video of this girl saying that doing this cleanse changed her life and it was amazing. And I do believe that the cleanse really made me improve, but you know, I still don't feel like I'm in amazing perfect health, but it's because I still eat naughty sometimes and I still do things that isn't the best. So I did them for 10 months from October 2017 to June 2018 the next year. You do it once a month, and I'll do a separate video on that. But I saw my liver flushing out stones and my gallbladder flushing out stones, and I feel like it definitely helped clear up my skin. It kept helping me with my weight loss. It kept detoxing my body, and it helped me with a lot of the allergies that I had in the past. I was allergic to like seasonal like changes and sometimes dog and cat hairs or dander, I guess. In 2018, I kept upping up my HIIT intensity workouts and my weights. I started weightlifting and started getting really stronger, and I started my squats. I went up to like 135, 140 pounds, almost my body weight. But in 2018, the summer of 2018, I quit my job and I went to Colombia for 2 months, and I still was eating pretty healthy. I was like, I'll show you some pictures. I think in Colombia I was like 145-ish, so I was already down 15 pounds. I was already down 20 pounds. So I reached my goal, and it took me like a year and a half. But I did lose a lot of muscle mass because I stopped weightlifting for those 2 months. And then I came back from Colombia. I was still weighing around 145, 140. I was always going up and down between those 5 pounds. I got back to weightlifting. I got my strength back. I wasn't worried about tracking at this point, like 2 years later in 2018. I wasn't too worried about it because I felt like my body was accustomed to eating less. I got full more easier, and I knew what responds well in my body. I knew what doesn't respond well in my body. Oatmeal in the morning or smoothies in the summertime. And then I started introducing my coconut yogurt parfaits too. Those are really good. For lunch, it would always change up. It depends on what I cooked the night before and I took to work. But at night, I always had a big salad with either tortilla chips and hummus or a little salsa or something like that. And also in 2019, this year, 10K run. It was 6 miles. I trained 3 months from March 2019 to June 2019, and I stopped weightlifting that much because I noticed when I was weightlifting and doing those long jogs, I was getting too fatigued and my body wasn't able to handle that much. When I do a lot of cardio, my body weight just goes down a lot. So I was down to like 140, and I feel my best at 140. I feel like my body feels really good at 140. I feel like I'm the least bloated. My clothes fit me amazingly, and I feel really light and really good at 140. So that's actually what I'm trying to do right now. After the jogging, it was like June 2019, and that month I took off basically because my body was so tired and I got sick for like a month. July and August, I went back to weightlifting and started to get my strength back up again. But I did start eating a lot. Like my appetite gets like bigger in the summertime. So yeah, I'm back to 146. So I gained like 6-ish pounds, and I do find myself really bloated, especially my stomach right now. Keep doing my jogging like once to twice a week, and I want to keep working on my weightlifting and getting my strength back. And I want to also go back to eating cleaner carbs and huge salads at night, and try to do more intermittent fasting or lemon water in the morning and even fresh juices in the morning. I feel like the main thing that happened was I definitely snack less. For me, for my body type, if I snack a lot during the day, I get bloated and I start gaining weight. Like my body likes three meals a day that have everything included, and you know, like small to medium portions that really satiate me. Indulge a little bit on the weekends, but you know, be mindful of your body. If something really makes you feel bad and you notice that it makes you feel bad, don't keep eating it, because that's your body's way of telling you that it doesn't like that food. Limit the junk food, the fried food, all that stuff. And now junk food and fried food and all those things and processed foods, like they make me feel nauseous now. That's how much my body is not addicted to those foods anymore. Like it just doesn't like those foods at all. I want to keep doing the organ cleansings. I want to move on to my kidney. In the book that I read about liver cleanses, there's also a kidney cleanse, and there's like a bunch of herbs that you get together and you make a tea and you drink that tea for like a week, and then you pee out your kidney crystals, because in the process of filtering out your liquids and I think it's just the liquids that your kidney processes. Maybe it's the blood too, I'm not 100% sure. But you know, things get stuck, things slow down. Think of like your hair and getting a haircut. Your organs need to be maintained and need certain minerals and vitamins or certain cleanses to keep them functioning at like 90 to 100%. Something else that I did when I for the past few years is I did fascia blasting. So fascia blasting is like this really big stick, and after you work out or when you're in the sauna or your body's like really, really hot, you take some oil and you like go up and down or side to side with this big stick on your stomach, on your legs, on your muscles, on your back, on your booty, and it just helps flush out toxins. It brings blood to the surface, and that blood heals, and that's why you can get bruises afterwards. But it also reduces lactic acid that builds up in your muscles, especially if you work out a lot. Especially it's made for athletes, so it's good to like fascia blast because it gets deeper in than the foam roller. It gets deep into the fascia and really loosens it up, so it's really great for the body. And I found that it reduced my cellulite a lot. If you're feeling pain like in your back or in your lower back, I know I had a lot of pain when I first started doing deadlifts, especially because my form was bad. I would fascia blast my lower back and it would feel so great the next day. So yeah, that's pretty much my health journey in a nutshell. And I've read a lot of books too. I'll put some books that I really, really love. Even though I feel like also take into consideration that even though you can go on YouTube and you can go on Instagram and look at what other people are doing, but see what works for you, because just because someone eats a lot of meat and doesn't do cardio at all and just weights lifts but looks incredible and so lean doesn't mean it's gonna work for you, and doesn't mean that they're healthy on the inside. All right, bye.